Dazzling to look at, creatively inspiring to use, and at a price that doesn't make you wince. That's the Honor View 20, and it's the best phone Honor has made yet. When we say dazzling, we really mean it. Just take a look at the way these V-shapes form on the surface of the phone, almost like you're seeing a reflection in a pool of water. It's quite stunning. There's another very good thing to this. Honor phones in the past, well, they've been pretty, but what they haven't been is uniquely Honor phones. By adopting this, what Honor calls nanolithographic treatment, this has given the phone an identity. Painting this intricate V shape into the glass body not only looks fantastic, but it uniquely points this out as being a V series Honor phone. And that's a big thing. If you're going to make a series of exciting phones, they need to have a face. You need to be able to recognize them. And this, well, it's obvious. It's an Honor View 20. That's a big step forward for Honor. How about the rest of the phone? Let's just take a quick look around. It's fairly slim at about 8mm. It weighs about 180 grams, so it's quite sizable in the hand. There's a USB Type-C socket at the bottom of the device here for fast charging the large 4000 mAh battery. And if we look at this end, there's a 3.5mm headphone jack. That's not something you see every day these days on a smartphone. And then we come around to the front of the device. And this is again another big design triumph for Honor on the View 20. It's this, a punch hole camera. This is Honor's answer to the continued question of what to do with the selfie camera when you've got a bezel-less smartphone. As we know, the notch has become the standard way of concealing it. Nice little cutout along the top of the screen, but not everybody likes that. This is a very new approach. This is the first internationally available smartphone with the punch hole camera. And technically, it's very, very impressive. It actually doesn't poke all the way through. It's not a big hole in the glass. It actually only goes through a little bit of the display. And it's a very good way of doing it. There's no light leakage. You don't have quality affected. You can't get the lens dirty. It's just a wipe over on the screen. Everything's clean. Talking of clean, that's the way we describe the look. It's an extremely neat application. This is a small little hole, 4-point-something millimeters. So it pretty much disappears after you've looked at the front of the phone for a while. No, it's not perfect. It's not as ideal as it would be if it wasn't there at all. But at the moment, in terms of what we're able to do with technology, this is by far the best alternative to a notch. Turn the View 20 around and there's a single camera lens on the rear. That's right, that second one is not a camera lens. This is a 3D sensor and it measures time of flight, which means it's kind of like a sonar bouncing back a signal from an object in front of it back to the phone, so it can measure distance and depth and all sorts of things like that. It's a very effective alternative to having a second lens for doing things like artificial bokeh and for augmented reality. The single lens alongside it comes from Sony and it has 48 megapixels. That's right, 48 megapixels. It's an astonishingly large sensor. You can see it still pokes out quite a bit from the phone itself. And it is quite big alongside the depth of field sensor and the flash unit. The pictures that it takes, well, they're pretty impressive, and it can do some other cool stuff too. Video performance without the artificial intelligence features is also very good. We shot some test videos in Las Vegas and in London and were impressed with the results. They're particularly smooth too. There's not much movement when we're moving around or when there's objects on screen. Overall, very impressive performance for the video. How about the stills? Well, there's a couple of different modes. Obviously 48 megapixels, well, that's a lot of megapixels for any camera. But there is also a secondary mode. Let's come out of video here and go into photo, and you can see that there's a different amount of settings. The standard 12 megapixel is probably enough for most days. There is a 48 megapixel standard mode, and then there's what Honor calls 48 megapixel AI Ultra Clarity. And this uses artificial intelligence to boost the scene even further. Honor says that it's best for scenery and still objects and things like that, not for anything that's moving around or particularly fast. The results, well, they're spectacular. There's such ability to zoom in that you can practically make 2 pictures out of 1 without a loss of quality. And that's pretty exciting. In fact, creatively, we think that the Honor View 20 is exciting. There's so much that you can experiment with. There's a whole load of different camera modes. There's the aperture mode, there's slow motion, there's the specific light painting mode, so you can take time-lapse photos of traffic lights and things like that, so you can see the flow of traffic just in the tail lights. It looks really awesome. And there's a mode dedicated to helping you do that. Outside of that, there's night mode, which will enhance low light images. There's a very good portrait mode for taking shots of people with a blurry background. Honor is particularly good at isolating people in those shots. Very, very effective indeed. There's a lot to do with the Honor View 20 camera. So what sort of things can it do? Well, you're probably looking at it right now. I specifically wore a red top because this is AI color mode. And what it does is use artificial intelligence to separate me and my colourful shirt and my skin tone from the background, which appears in black and white. Pretty cool, right? It can also do this. This is AI background blur, and it adds an artificially intelligent driven bokeh mode to video. So in theory, right now, everything behind me should be blurry and I should be in focus, and it should also recognize my movements and still understand that the background needs to be blurred and not me. What else do we like about the Honor View 20? We like that there's a rear fingerprint sensor. There's no in-display fingerprint sensors here. This is convenient, it's fast, it's easily found, and it's reliable. We like the size of the device. This is a 6.4 inch screen on the front. There's plenty of space. It's easily holdable, so we can almost fit our hand around there. It's very easy to use with the gesture control system. We like the 4000 milliamp hour battery. That's got plenty of power. We got 2 days out of this with above average use, and we are very happy with that. There's a Kirin 980 processor inside, so there's lots of power. We like gaming on the Honor View 20. The punch hole camera at the top here disappears when you're gaming, so you don't really see it, and you have this wonderful full screen experience. That's something that you don't often get with a notch which sits down the side and is a little bit distracting. How about things that we don't like? Well, there's not much actually. The software, that is Android 9, but it uses Honor's new Magic UI system. Now, Magic UI looks basically the same as EMUI on a Huawei phone. Honor tells us that in the future the two will look different, but currently it looks almost exactly the same. There are a few differences. For some reason, we've now only got 5 shortcuts added in the notification shade. You can manually put more in, but why they've been taken away in the first place, I don't know. I'm assuming there's some reason for it based on use. But when we're looking for something we usually expect to find there and can't, it's frustrating. And that'll certainly be the case for newcomers to Magic UI. You can see that there is an app drawer on here. If you don't want this, you can take it away. You can also see that there's a lovely gesture control system based on swipes, and we think this is really effective. The animation is also much smoother than it used to be. It's certainly fast too. It's a Kirin 980 processor and 8 GB of RAM inside this phone, so fast is not a problem. We've been enjoying using the Honor View 20. The only other problem with this is that so far there's not been a US release date given. This was already available in China and is coming internationally to Europe and the UK in a few weeks' time at the end of January. The price will be announced then, but based on the price in China, this is going to cost around £500, $500, thereabouts. And for what you get, that's a really great price. Don't forget, you're getting cutting edge viewing technology with the punch hole camera here. You're getting this stunning design, you're getting all day, 2-day battery life, plenty of power, and some excitement to use with that camera. There's certainly plenty you can do with it. For the price, for the looks, and for what you can do, the Honor View 20 is easily Honor's best phone to date. And if they can get a US release date for us, well, we'd be really, really pleased.